There's no doubt about it. We live in a time of spiritual starvation. That we live in a time that is on the brink of a spiritual revolution, an evolutionary leap in consciousness is available to us, is happening presently. It's been happening, and it's in full swing. It's exciting. Naturally, it brings up a lot of fear for a lot of people. So there's a few things I wanted to talk about in my own humble perspective that have felt really helpful for me on my path, and that I hope are helpful for whoever's watching this. The first thing that I feel called to share, which I've heard only a few teachers speak about, but it feels so true to me, is that the times between sleeping and waking and sleeping are so important. Like when you first wake up in the morning, when you're kind of half in dreamland, half in, okay, I'm in a body in a bed right now land, semi-conscious. That's such a powerful time. Such a powerful time to just feel the nature of awareness, or to start the day with a positive thought, or with prayerfulness, which is what recently has been most resonant for me, most helpful for me, to just feel the connection with Spirit, with the Holy Spirit, with Great Spirit, with yourself, aka, it's all aka yourself. Every dang name you could give. So to take that time first thing, right as you're waking up, to either do something that is something called self-inquiry, a lot of you might be familiar with, like who am I? When the first thoughts start to come, or like I said, to say some kind of prayer, like thy will be done. Today I surrender everything to you, universe, God, beloved. Everything is yours. I'm just a puppet in the dream. Help me to live a life of service for myself and all beings. In thy name, thy will be done, my Lord. Thy will be done. Then there's a surrender as we start our day. There's like a detached attitude. And right before bed, right before falling asleep, it's the same. Just to be as present as possible at those times, those transition times, when we go from one state of consciousness to another. There's the three states that we're most aware of: the state of deep sleep, the dreaming state, and the waking state. And if we could be conscious as much as possible in that transition, full power. So another thing I wanted to share was, just as a helpful reminder, these are kind of like shortcuts. Not that there's any such thing as a shortcut on the one hand, and on the other hand there is. It's all a paradox. But something that I find just helpful psychologically is to not bite off more than you could chew. To just recognize that taking 5 minutes a day, everybody can take 5 minutes a day to just be alone, to tune in to oneself. That's all is needed. And I think that's really important, to not think, oh, if I'm going to start a meditation practice, I have to do it for a half hour every morning. Or if I'm going to do yoga or anything, to set like a decent chunk of time. It doesn't have to be like that. It might grow to be like that organically, Or you might be like, I'm somebody who's not necessarily, a lot of the times, wanting to sit for a long period, a long stretch. I kind of like short sits throughout the day, spontaneously, just to kind of check in with myself, get grounded. So just 5 minutes a day, anytime. Just not making it like a chore, like something you have to do, like work. It's supposed to be about, I was going to say enjoying, but even beyond that, it's receiving. So if we're going to be in the vibration of receivership, of openness, there has to be like an ease and a softness and a grace about it, gracefulness. So first thing in the morning, right before bed, as much as we can to be present as we transition. Then not being too ambitious in terms of how much time we're taking for ourselves to continue to commune inwardly. Just 5 minutes. Everybody can commit to that, and it can be any time that feels best for you. And then another thing, during this time of spiritual upgrade is that there's no rules. There are no rules to applying spirituality, bringing the spiritual element into our day-to-day lives. There are no rules. This is not spiritual. I mean, it's not that this is spiritual and this isn't. I got my friend's little doggy right here underneath the chair that the laptop's sitting on. And it's like, that's God right there. Whatever I give my presence to is sacred. So for me personally, I love to make altars because I'm on the move a lot. So I like to, even if I'm not on the move, I love to make big elaborate altars with whatever pine cones and rocks and sticks I find outside, besides the sacred, stickers and pictures and family pictures and crystals and little statues, murtis as they're called in Sanskrit, shamanic things, feathers. I love all that stuff. And especially since I'm on the road, it helps me to stay grounded, to just have some sacred things. Recently I've really been feeling the connection with the Mother Goddess, which is just the word for the divine feminine energy of the universe. And so that's felt really good for me. It really helped me to feel the tenderness. And I like feminine things, like this shawl. Just as a reminder for connecting with that part of myself. So, using symbols, creating altars, if that's helpful for you too. Anything that helps us remember the divine. Spending time in nature, of course, is so important. That's such a part of connecting with ourselves, is connecting with the earth that has birthed us, that has nourished our ancestors before time even began. So, let's keep this a short one. Already over 9 minutes. So I hope it's helpful just to have a few reminders and some encouragement. Like, everybody, we're all spiritual beings. Said in another video, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Some of us have more inclination than others, and that's fine. We're all so different, so diverse. But I do think it's important for everyone to be able to connect with themselves on a deeper level, whatever that looks like. So tuning in the morning and before falling asleep. Taking just 5 minutes a day for yourself. Sacred sacred solitude time, you could call it. And not having any rules, letting anything that reminds you of the sacred, of the spiritual, of the holy, of your innermost self, of the heart, anything that could remind you of that throughout the day, having that around you in the altar, spending time in nature, connecting with your pet, just noticing, just what makes me feel in love with this life. Peace be with you.